match -1 activity for Scotland with Captain Andy Robertson. Kenny Miller is going to moderate this press conference. Please remember, same, just wait for the microphone so you can place your questions.
Start off with the BBC at the front. Hi Andy, we're just going to speak to Steve. He says he wants this to be the best night of yours and your team's life. Is that the way that you're viewing this match as just a fantastic opportunity?
That'd be nice, yeah. Yeah, look, it's one that we look forward to. We're playing against a massive country, most iconic in World Cup, obviously most decorated, but it also gives us an opportunity to achieve, our dreams as well. We want to achieve history for our little country, and we have an opportunity to do that tomorrow night.
And just on the permutations, everyone back home is trying to work out who we can play next, everything like that, what results are required. What's the approach like in the camp? Are you looking at it needs to be a certain scoreline, or is it, as the manager keeps saying, first it's win the game, can't win the game, don't lose the game, and how hard is it to block out all of the permutation talk?
Not hard at all, couldn't care less, to be honest with you. Now, come tomorrow night after the game, that might change. I won't, deny that, but when it comes to the game, we are in control of our own destiny at the minute. We've still got a game to play. We've already got 3 points, and nobody knows what you need, who you need to beat, whatever happens. But what we know is if we get a result tomorrow night, then we'll be 100% through. So we have to focus on that. And then if we don't manage that, then okay, maybe come Wednesday night, late night, then we start looking what everyone else back home is looking at. But for us, as long as we are still in control, then that's all we can focus on. We know it's a big task tomorrow night, but we believe in the squad that we've got. We believe the quality that we've got, and if we get a result, then like the manager said, it'll be one of the best nights of our lives, and it will obviously achieve history for our country as well.
Andy, you're going to come up against your old teammate Alisson tomorrow night. Can you just tell us how highly you rate him as a keeper, and more importantly, how do they find a way of getting past him tomorrow night?
Best keeper in the world. I've been very lucky to play with Ali for the last 8 years, and big moments. Ali was always there for us. Even when our defence was at the best, sometimes teams would get through, and we would always rely on Ali to go and make the save. So unbelievable goalkeeper, unbelievable, an even better person. Somebody that I'd admire so much. Him and his family. Been really lucky to be close to them. And yeah, they're fantastic people. So I hope he's picking the ball out the net maybe a couple of times tomorrow, more usual than I'm used to. But he's the best keeper in the world for me, and he has been for so many years. And I can't speak highly enough of him as a player and as a person. But yeah, like I said, hopefully tomorrow he doesn't keep a clean sheet.
Andy, you get into the game tomorrow night on a booking. Does that ever affect you if you're in that situation? Does it ever come into your mind what the consequences are?
Not since you've asked, so thanks for that. No, look, you have to play the game. That's part of football. You can't start worrying about suspensions or anything else that goes along with it. I know there's a few of us on bookings, and it'll be the same in the whole tournament. Going into the last game, but football, it is what it is. You have to go in 100% to everything that you do. We'll be going in 100% to try and get the result that we can do, and what will be will be. So it's not something I've overly thought about, obviously, until about 20 seconds ago. But yeah, look, we go all in tomorrow. We go 100% and try and get the result that we need to, like I said, create history. And the players have to be all 100%, and I certainly will be on a booking or not on a booking.
Hi, Andy. So your coach talked about the dynamic players in the Brazilian team remain like Vinicius Jnr, but then we know there are a lot more. And for someone who plays from the back like you, how ready are you, for the game in terms of the tactical preparations you're making personally as a player to ensure that you provide that leadership the team needs from the back for the result you need tomorrow?
Yeah, of course. Like we know, Brazil have got unbelievable players all over the pitch, but their front line's pretty special. They've got players that can hurt you in any moment, and it's up to us at the back to try and be switched on at all times. I think defensively as a whole unit, as a whole group, we've been, good the last two games, apart from, we probably didn't start the last game as well as we could have. And we switched off just for 1 second and we got punished. So I think that was a lesson to us that we can't switch off at any point in this tournament. And I think that's no different against Brazil. The players they've got on the wings, the players they've got through the middle are full of quality, full of, they can hurt you at any moment. And I think we always have to be wary of that as a whole team. And but hopefully we've got players up the other end of the pitch that can do the same. And, hopefully we can ask them questions as well.
Hi, Henry. Mosola, thank you for Molatsportgist Nigeria. Against Morocco, you picked up a yellow card, and the team spent a lot of time on the back foot, allowing 26 touches in your penalty area. Now going into this game, facing a highly fluid front line of Vini and Cunha, you faced them before actually in your career. And how do you, as a backline unit, plan to tighten up and limit that kind of box penetration, knowing that personally you have this attacking instinct running forward down the left flank? So how do you plan as a defender to make sure you tighten up this penetration?
You want me to give the whole game plan away? I'm not sure what to do with that question. Look, we defend as a team, we attack as a team. That's always been the way we always try our best in everything that we do. And I think defensively in the first two group games we've probably been better than going forward. I think that's clear. We've not maybe created as much chances and things like that, which we're working really hard to try and do that because we know we need to score goals. But defensively we've been pretty good. So I think as a unit, as a individually, as a collective, we've all defended pretty well in the last two games, and I think we're going to need that on the highest level it's probably ever been come tomorrow night because of the players you just mentioned and the players we're playing against. But when we have the ball, we also have to try and cause Brazil problems as well. We can't just spend 90 minutes defending and not have the ball. So we have to come up with a plan as well to be able to keep the ball and create chances of our own, and that's what we're working towards. And hopefully come tomorrow night we can put it all together.
¿Qué tal? Buenas tardes, Andy. En español, por favor. Roberto Acosta de late.com.bo de Bolivia. Andy, has jugado final de Champions, tuviste partidos importantes en tu carrera con tu club, con tus selecciones, pero el partido de mañana, ¿en qué lugar de tu vida o de tu carrera lo pones?
Yeah, it's high on the list. I think I've never shied away from it. I've always spoken about how much playing for my country means to me, how much being captain means to me. And when you're doing that on the biggest stage and you're playing in the biggest tournament of world football, then it has to be right up there with the biggest games you've ever played. And for me, it's no different. Like you said, I've been very lucky to play in massive games for Liverpool and also Scotland. I've been lucky to play in Champions League finals and things like that. But these last two games and tomorrow night will be no different. They're going to be right up there with the most important and the biggest games that I'll ever play in, because like I said, it's the biggest stage. It's your country. It feels different. We have 5 million people back home shouting us on and cheering us on. So it's massive. There's no hiding away from it, but it's something to be excited about, not to fear. And we want to be the ones to try and create history. There's been plenty of teams before us that haven't quite managed it, and it'd be great for us to get it over the line, and that's what we'll be looking to do tomorrow night.
En español, por favor. Andy, ¿cómo te va? José Quino para la Red 1 de Bolivia. Te consulto. ¿Qué le han pedido de consejos los compañeros? Usted ha compartido con varios jugadores, estrellas de Brasil, uno de ellos Alisson, ya lo había mencionado. ¿Qué ha podido compartir con sus compañeros acerca de, por lo menos, el guardameta y otros con los que ha tenido la oportunidad de jugar? Gracias.
I don't think, I know that all the players in the squad respect me, but I don't think they respect my shooting maybe, so I don't think they'll be taking any advice off me of how to beat Alisson. I've trained with him for 8 years and I could probably count on one hand how many goals I've scored in him in training, so I've certainly not cracked it. Like I said, I can't speak highly enough of Alisson, but obviously when our strikers come to shooting and things like that, then hopefully they can get the better of them. Of course, if a chance falls to us, then hopefully we can be the ones that take it. But like I said, it's not going to be an easy task. We're coming up against the best goalkeeper in the world. I've got no doubts about that. But we have to believe that we can score. Of course we do. If any goalkeepers in goals, we have to still believe that. If we don't, then there's not much point in showing up. So that will be the aim. Our aim will be to play the best game possible, defensively, attackingly, and if we can do that, then like I said, hopefully it's a big night for our country. But we also know it's going to be a difficult task. We know, the team we're playing against. We know the individuals we're playing against of, world class quality, and Brazil have got that in every single position. So it's going to be difficult, but like I said, it's a challenge that we're looking forward to, and hopefully we can produce.
Hi, Robertson. Arthur Quesada from TNT Sports Brazil. There is a chance of Neymar play tomorrow. You face him before as a Liverpool player. If it's up to you, do you want to face Neymar tomorrow as well? And what changed in the defensive system if Neymar is on?
It's not really if we want to, face Neymar, if we want to face Vinicius Jnr, if we want to face Cendric, if we want to face Martinelli. Brazil I could go on and name, every player in the Brazil squad. They have so much quality. They have so much quality to choose from, even if you see the players that aren't in the Brazil squad that have been left at home and things like that. So, that's up to Ancelotti to make that decision of who plays and, what team he decides. And we just have to prepare to try and play the best we can, because we know they have quality in every single position. We know that if they have to make substitutions, they have quality coming on the pitch. And that's what you're facing against. You're playing against one of the best teams in the world. There's no denying that. So we just have to be as ready as we can be. We have to come up with a game plan. We have to try and put that game plan in place, and we have to try and do it to the best of our ability. And that's our aim. If Neymar starts the game, if he comes onto the pitch, then he has so much quality. I've played against him before. He's an unbelievable player, but also the players that are in the same position as him, I've played against them as well, and they're not easy either. So they have so much quality. They're blessed with quality in their squad, and whoever plays, I'm sure will be trying to do the best for Brazil. But we have to try and do the best for Scotland.
Rodrigo Bello, TNT Sports Brazil. We saw some news coming from Boston that Scottish people drank all the beer available over there. So this question is more about the passion that they have for the national team. If Scotland beats Brazil tomorrow, do you think that there is a chance Miami could run out of beer?
These are the questions I like. These are the questions I get on board with. No, look, I've always said it about our fans. Our fans are the best in the world. Everywhere they go, people fall in love with them. I think you've seen how much the whole of the city of Boston fell in love with the Tartan Army, and I think they're gutted now that they've left. And now, obviously, they come down to Miami and try and make the same impact. And I think they've had that same impact, obviously, at the baseball again last night, walking through the streets and everything. So, come tomorrow night, if we manage to beat Brazil, like I'm using your words now, if we manage to beat Brazil, then I'm sure maybe a couple of beers will be drank by the Tartan Army. That's for sure. But that's what we hope, because we want to give them something to shout about. We want to give them something happy about, and obviously, also if we win the game, then we've created history, and I think the whole of the Tartan Army want that, and that would be something to celebrate. But we're a long way off that sitting here just now, and hopefully, when it comes to the time tomorrow, then we're a wee bit closer.
Oh, hello from Brandy Group, Brazil. The temperature, the climate has been in the backlights until now. But for tomorrow, I think by the heat, we'll be in the spotlight. Are you prepared? Your team are prepared for tomorrow?
I don't think Scotland are ever prepared for the heat, but we have done everything we can to be ready. I think I said it after, in the first press conference I did before the Haiti game. Our backroom staff have been unbelievable. They've done everything they can. They've tried to prepare us as best as we can. The preparation started from November when we, secured qualification, and they've ticked every box to try and get us in the best possible shape. So we can't thank them enough for that. But yeah, it's something that obviously we're not used to playing in warm climates as much as maybe Brazilians are and things like that. But the heat is, the heat is the heat. We can't change the weather, unfortunately. So we've been out here now for maybe 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, and it certainly has got easier and things like that to deal with it. So we're as ready as we can be. The preparations have been spot on for the last 3 weeks, the last 6 months even, and obviously whatever temperature it is tomorrow, then we're going to need to deal with it, and we'll have things in place to try and deal with it as best as we can, and hopefully it doesn't have too much of an impact, and I believe in the fitness of the lads as well, that it shouldn't have.
Javier Rodríguez de Fan Network TV en español, por favor. We're happy to have you here in Miami, by the way. Estamos viviendo los últimos días de dos leyendas del fútbol mundial como Lionel Messi y Cristiano Ronaldo. Personalmente, para tu carrera, ¿qué han significado estos dos jugadores después de 20 años en la alta competencia de ellos?
Obviously, unbelievable players. Been very lucky enough to play against both of them. And they're the best, in the world. Both of them have just been going at it, breaking records, scoring so many goals. Even the fact that, their age of that just now and the condition they're in, they're still playing at the highest level. They're still, as far as when I walked in today, Ronaldo had only scored 2. I don't know if that's changed already. Messi's obviously already scored, 5 for the tournament. Both of them are still producing on the highest level, and they've done it for so many years, and they're just unbelievable players, and obviously maybe they're coming to the end of their careers, but they've gave, I think, the whole of football so many memories and so many moments that you can look back on and just with a smile on your face. Any big football fan loves watching both of them, and certainly their goals and their assists and things like that, it'll be, once they retire, it'll be amazing to look back on and see how many goals they actually scored and how many trophies they won. So I'm sure they both have their eye on, certainly one more big one, and that's the one over here. And they're both certainly trying everything they can to produce for their country. Last one over here.
Por acá, Jorge Lara de Canal 6 México. La pregunta para ti va con respecto a lo que ya platicabas de la situación del calor y el clima que hay aquí en Miami. Para ti, ¿qué opinión te merece el tema de la pausa de hidratación? Porque ha sido polémico, al menos en México, con respecto a cómo se ha comercializado este espacio por las televisoras. ¿Qué opinión te merece la pausa de hidratación a ti como futbolista? Gracias.
For me, I've always been kind of one that's just done what I'm told. I kind of, football, probably in my home life as well, I just kind of do what I'm told as well. So yeah, look, for me, the hydration breaks, obviously there's a lot being spoke about, but when it is hot and things like that, then hydration breaks come in, and, we've had hydration breaks in the Premier League when it gets to a certain temperature and things like that. So could it have maybe been, determined on what temperature you're playing at and things like that? Maybe the Haiti game, we didn't need it because we were playing at 9 o'clock at night when it was a wee bit colder and things like that. We maybe didn't need the hydration break. Probably the Morocco game we did. Maybe tomorrow we will. So I think maybe it could have been, circumstantial as such. But, at the end of the day, it's, getting a drink in the heat. I'm never going to knock that back. So it's been fine. It's been different. It's obviously kind of then changed football into 4 quarters as such, and instead of 2 halves. But yeah, I think it could have been circumstantial, but the heats that we've played that against Morocco, I think we needed it. Against Haiti, we probably didn't need it. Tomorrow, we're going to need it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please remember that we have Brazil press conference at 7:50.